because no one was monitoring.
Just how many Americans have been sprayed from the sea, land, and underground over this 20-year period? Have there been other similar tests in later years? It is hard to tell. Many details are still kept under secrecy in classified government documents.
Record droughts, and then all of a sudden, it's been raining cats and dogs. What's happening?
Well, it's important to understand, George, that when the climate engineers control the spigot, they can turn it on and off as they wish. And for those that don't believe this can be done on this kind of a scale, they simply haven't done their research. When you fill the atmosphere with particulates, you affect the hydrological cycle dramatically. So we can speculate as to the agenda of why the spigot's been turned on in California. But the overall agenda, again, is much, much larger. If you look at our society and all the things people are concerned about, I would ask this. If we have powers around the world radically derailing Earth's life support systems, climate, life support systems, atmosphere, and if they damage that beyond the planet's ability to support life, will anything else matter at that point? And I would argue, obviously not. So in the case of California, it's much bigger than just California. We have things happening in both polar zones right now that are not being reported, incredibly radical. In fact, frontline data looks like we may have an ice-free Arctic at the end of this year or next. That's about 100 years ahead of schedule. And I know people are ranting coming ice age, global cooling. I do challenge anyone, and this is not about Al Gore and carbon credits, both of which are shams. I would challenge anyone to look at the frontline data, look at the temperatures we're seeing. George, did you happen to notice that 2 weeks ago in the middle of winter, Texas hit 107 degrees?
Oh, I know. It's crazy. St. Louis, it's been 70 almost all of February. It's crazy.
Exactly. The only reason we're having these radical cool downs because we had about a dozen instances of record high temperature to snow in less than 24 hours in the U.S. in the last 2 weeks. That's because they're chemically ice nucleating wherever they have enough moisture to do so. So they're fire hosing moisture in from the west right now in a desperate attempt to create what amounts to a continental swamp cooler evaporative means of trying to chemically ice nucleate and cool things down. So you have a cool west now. You have the east frying. So to make clear to your listeners again, George, what this is all about, the most primary stated purpose for climate engineering, solar radiation management, to block the sun with light scattering particles because the planet is warming. And listen to what I'm saying right now because this is not a mistake. The planet's warming right now statistically at the thermal energy rate of 4 Hiroshima bombs per second, 400,000 per day. Challenge anyone. Look that up. Find the data. It's online. So if we go back to semantics, again, George, what I mentioned earlier about semantics being important.
Right.
Did you happen to see, George, the survey sometime back that was done by the main climate engineering disinformation source, Carnegie Science? Did you see the survey that said scientists state chemtrails aren't real? Did you see that?
Mm-hmm. I did.
6 o'clock
Okay,
at night.
let's look at that.
And I shook my head.
Spraying at
Okay,
night.
so let's dissect that for a moment, if I may. Our
Spraying
legal
at night.
team, the Legal Alliance
There's
to
another
Stop
one coming right
Geoengineering,
after it.
did a survey.
Fuckers.
We did a survey of our own, starting with the 77 scientists that participated in the, quote, chemtrails aren't
6
real
o'clock
survey.
at night.
And we added 1,430 more scientists to that
That
list.
ain't
We
no
publicized
fucking
the whole
passenger
list
jet,
with
yeah.
the context, all the contacts for those individuals
is a
so
fucking
people can
spraying
verify
jet.
its authenticity. Of those 1,500 scientists
There.
surveyed, including the
Love.
77 that participated in the
1, 2.
chemtrails aren't real
1, 2
survey,
punch.
not one, not a single one was willing to deny climate engineering, solar radiation management, stratospheric aerosol injection. Not one on the record. So when you use the science
That
terms,
one's spraying pretty thick.
now it's not so easy to deny. So
got
at
a red
1,500
blinking light.
scientists surveyed, not one was willing to deny the ongoing reality that's happening in our skies every day.